All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So BlizzCon has come and it is gone. And at their announcements at the beginning showcase, they showed off some new WoW expansions. We also saw Phil Spencer come onto the stage and talk about the future of Blizzard with Xbox and how the future is bright and that there's going to be a lot more freedom to kind of take part in their ideas and create some great games. And one of those games obviously is World of Warcraft. The 3 expansions announced, and people are sitting here wondering, is this game ever going to make its way out onto console? Something I've asked for a while now, and I think it makes complete sense. You think about the Xbox console itself with major MMOs, one coming over soon, which is going to be Final Fantasy 14. You have Phantasy Star Online, you have the Elder Scrolls Online. It would just be another great staple into the Xbox platform, probably revitalize it in a way that brings in a bunch of people that have never played the game before if they've only been playing games on console. Now, you think it would make sense, and it looks like it does make sense, as Blizzard says that they've been talking about bringing over World of Warcraft to consoles. They've been talking about it all the time. This is from Games Radar at BlizzCon 2023, and Holly Longdale, the vice president and executive producer of World of Warcraft, had this to say. It's a complicated question. For a console audience, the approachability is likely going to be different. She says, right now we're focused on the World Soul Saga, but if that comes up, then we'll re-examine things. But man, we've got enough to deal with right now. We've got these 3 expansions and we are so excited about them. But yeah, of course, it would be very insincere to say that we're not. Like, of course, we're talking about that. And she says, we are Microsoft now. And when she says we're talking about that, she's talking about bringing over the games to console. So I feel like potentially they were talking about bringing the game to console. It just really probably wasn't that serious or taken that seriously, as to them, they probably just thought we don't need that base of gamers right now. But now that they are Xbox, I feel like those talks will ramp up and there's a higher chance that World of Warcraft will come to console. And I really hope it does. I think it opens it up to a whole different user base. It would be a huge announcement. It would get people really excited, especially when they say it's coming into Game Pass and you're getting expansions with it, or maybe some more perks along those lines. Who knows what they would do with this, but they have so many opportunities to make a game like World of Warcraft where people spend most of their time playing it. If you're a World of Warcraft player, you're spending the majority of your time playing games, playing that game. And for Xbox, that's something that they would want, is keeping people into their ecosystem, spending their times in their games themselves. WoW on console would be one of those that I think they could take advantage of. And it would just be cool to see. I would absolutely jump into it on console if they were to bring it over. So who knows, maybe in a few years, maybe after these expansions release and they're thinking about adapting it to a controller setting, because that's probably one of the main things. But we've seen plenty of other games adapt PC games, or generally PC games, to a controller, and it's worked very well. You think of games like Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2. Now, just jump over here. When it comes to the PlayStation fan base, the Nintendo Switch fan base, and the people in those platforms, Phil Spencer was talking to Famitsu, and he's saying that they are now a part of the Xbox community. Specifically, this is the quote because it was in Japanese, but this is the quote. It says, just as I consider ROG Ally and Steam Deck as part of the Xbox community, it's necessary to consider the numerous Nintendo Switch and PlayStation users as a part of the Xbox community going forward. And I know that quote there probably will piss off a lot of fanboys of both the Switch and of the PlayStation, the fanboys that absolutely hate Xbox. But the reality of the situation is, we take a look at a game that just released in terms of the early access of Call of Duty, and you think about it going forward when it comes out fully in the multiplayer, it's going to be a top-selling game on the PlayStation platform. And there's no other way to slice it, but realistically, they are essentially, people playing that game are a part of the Xbox community because it is a first-party Xbox game. And as Xbox has said multiple times, they don't really care where you play, especially with a game like Call of Duty, as long as you are playing an Xbox game, no matter what device. And Call of Duty will be that game that people on PlayStation, and then when they do release it for the Nintendo Switch, all those people technically will be feeding into the Xbox community, the Xbox servers, the Xbox data. Xbox will have tons of information from those users because of a game like Call of Duty, and then any other Activision Blizzard games that they do put out. So that's an interesting take. I'm guessing he's just kind of saying this in the sense that they would love to go and capture more users from PlayStation and Nintendo. They don't care about users that play on other platforms. They would love for them to play their games, play the Xbox games, even if they are on those platforms. So that we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But I know in terms of the console fanboy side of things, they will not be very happy to hear that. Hey, if I pick up Call of Duty, I'm essentially a part of the Xbox community. And people are picking up Call of Duty on PlayStation, as we have some pictures here of the top 10 games that are being sold on PlayStation, and Call of Duty is right there at the top of the list. That and Fortnite and all of those big games, every year it's probably going to be there. Every year Xbox is going to have a first party title in the top games sold on the PlayStation platform. And this is all despite it getting a 4 out of 10 by IGN. A lot of people are talking about this review, about the campaign. This is specifically for the campaign. They did give it a 4 out of 10, which is a very, very low score. I've been playing through the campaign. I'm say at about 3/4 of the way through it, and I don't think in any way it's a 4, but I will say it is not the best Call of Duty campaign that they've put out. Graphically looks stunning. The sound is really, really good as usual. The gameplay is fun. I mean, the controllers are tight. The gunplay is awesome. The biggest issue with this campaign, I would say, is just kind of the mission structure that they went with. They took a risk on the open mission structure where they kind of put you in a little mini Warzone map and you have to go around and collect gear and then try to get through that map itself. But it just kind of seems a little bit lazy doing that. I was expecting more of the linear cinematic set pieces that Call of Duty is known for. That's why I do enjoy playing those campaigns. So for me, definitely it's not a 4. It would be higher than that, maybe closer to a 7, but it is probably the weakest Call of Duty campaign out of the Modern Warfare series that they've released recently. But a 4 for my gen, guess that has a lot of people talking. Was there an Xbox tax on this score? Was somebody reviewing it, and now that it is a part of Xbox and maybe they're mad about the deal or whatever, they gave it a lower score than it really deserved. A 4 seems kind of unreasonable, but yeah, like I said, it is not the best campaign out there. But despite all of that, this game is still a top seller on the PlayStation platform, and it will be for a decent amount of time. And let's jump over here. Let's talk some PlayStation stuff. Last of Us Multiplayer, the factions or whatever it's going to end up being called when it does come out. We heard rumors that it was on ice and people are expecting this game to be canceled, but that has never been officially announced. And it looks like they're still working on this game, which I think is a good thing. I hope this game does eventually come out. For all the people out there that have been waiting for it, that were promised it, I hope this game does come out for them. And this is from the multiplayer director saying that they are still working on the project. Now, the director here is Vinit Agarwal, and he was tweeting about Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And in that same tweet says here, I did it. Wow, that was hard. Easily 300 plus Mario's dead in the process. And so this tweet can live on in peace. Yes, I'm still working on that game. And he's referring to the Naughty Dog's Last of Us multiplayer game. This is going to be a very interesting story to track, interesting story to follow, and to see what this game ends up being like. I know myself, I actually did enjoy the original factions with the first Last of Us, and I was excited that they were going to be bringing out another multiplayer game for it. And I'm assuming it was going to be a part of the Last of Us 2, and you're going to get it as part of that package. That obviously wasn't the case. They came out on stage a couple of years ago at the Game Awards and said that the multiplayer is way too big and ambitious, that they have to cut it off into its own game. And then we've seen all the stuff happen over the last few weeks from Sony where people are getting laid off and just kind of the turmoil and stuff and change up that is going on at PlayStation. Then there was the rumors coming out that The Last of Us multiplayer was on ice, and now we're hearing that they're still working on it. And I think because of all this, they have to prove a ton with this multiplayer game when it comes out. It has to be very, very good after all of the waiting, after all of the rumors, and after, I would say, the worst thing of all, not providing this game as a part of the Last of Us 2 package. And we'll see if they sell it at full price or if it's just included somewhere in a subscription service or something like that. And if they do end up releasing this game everywhere, including on PC, I feel like that would be a smart move. But again, who knows? With everything that's happened, with the rumors that employees are mad about games as a service, all of these things could be playing into this game being on ice or delayed or not out for a while. Now, as we know, the PlayStation 5 Slim is going to be out very soon. You're going to be able to go and pick one up. Probably the version of the console that PlayStation is going to try push a lot over Christmas. And now we are seeing this in the hands of some YouTubers, some influencers are doing teardowns, and you can go ahead and take a look at all of that type of stuff. But we have this one here from Dave 2D, who's claiming that the actual PS5 Slim isn't much smaller than the original PS5, saying that it's not that much smaller. Simply just says it like that. And we have some information here on the actual weight comparisons between the PS5 Slim and the OG PS5. You have the digital Slim at 2.6 kilograms compared to 3.4 kilograms of the original digital. Then you have the disc version at 3.2 kilograms compared to the original at 3.9 kilograms. They say it's about 30% smaller in this picture here. I actually think it does look relatively significantly smaller than the original PS5. Now, the thing with the actual size of the PlayStation 5, it wouldn't have been as bad if the design was just overall better. I mean, I've been saying this since they showed off the PS5. I think the Xbox completely outdid them in terms of the design of the console, the build of the console. It just seems like the Xbox Series X is higher quality. Just the way that it looks like, especially when they did the teardowns and the Ingenuity stuff with the dual boards on the Series X, where with the PS5, they just tried to fit everything into this big gargantuan case, and it doesn't look good, and it comes with a stand. It's just not a well-designed console, in my opinion. When they showed off the PS5 Slim, I was kind of in shock that they went with the exact same design, essentially, and it's still a very bad design. And it's not getting any better here with the actual stand that they're putting on with the PS5, as Dave 2D here has a video showing it off, showing how the stand connects, and it's honestly brutal.
It's a pair of these plastic feet that you slot into the side, or I guess like the bottom of the PlayStation 5. And when you flip it onto its side, if you can look in the hole, that it's right, that's the vertical stand, or sorry, that's the horizontal stand. Come on, man. This just looks...
So there it is. I mean, you can see it for yourself. It looks bad. I mean, it really does not look good. I would have thought that at this point, when they're putting out a Slim console, they would have designed it so you wouldn't need an additional stand to go horizontal with it, but they did do that. The coolest thing about the PS5 Slim, in my opinion, is just the detachable disc drive. I'm happy that they did put that in there. And I hope that if Xbox puts out a slim version of their console, they don't take out the disc drive completely. They also add a detached one. But even with all that being said, if I could trade in my big PS5 right now and directly get a PS5 Slim for it, I would, just because it is a 30% smaller, as they do say. It's just, I wish they would have come up with something nicer in its overall design. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.